Hi, welcome to Sheepish, episode 26. Today is Sunday, November 3rd, 2013, and I'm Holly. How is everybody? I know it's been a little while since I posted. If I think back at this time last week, I was boarding a plane to come back home from Maine. Yeah. Yes, I was at Highlands on the Fly last weekend, and it was fabulous. I will talk all about it later. But I'm going to go ahead and start off with saying I'm really sorry in advance because I have been sick as a dog all week. And yeah, if I start coughing, I'm trying not to. But if I start coughing, I apologize. You may not want to listen with your earbuds, or I'm just hoping that I don't blow out your earbuds. Anyway, so yeah, welcome. I hope you guys have had a great week. I have had a pretty darn good week and a little bit. So let's go ahead and get started. I am actually going to save the what's new at Shea Sheepish, all the administrative stuff for the end because we have a couple prize drawings to go for today. Yay! It is a little after, but we're still celebrating my first Podiversary. Yay! Sheepish is one. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you guys so much. If you are a returning viewer, I truly, truly appreciate that. And if you are new, you get to join us on the next year journey. Hooray! I hope you guys have fun with this. So let's go ahead and get started with current roster. So living in my bag from the Knotted Bag is my hero sweater, which has made some progress. It got no progress when I was in Maine, or technically when I was at the retreat. But it's got a bit of progress now. I think the last time you saw it, I was still in the beginnings of this rib. And I picked it up when I was on the plane going home and worked on the rest of the rib going into where I would need to switch for needles. Now that I look at the rib and I've actually measured the rib, it's a little shorter than I wanted, but I'm okay with that. I really am. And as you can see, I decided to put the sleeve detail at the bottom of my sweater. I actually love that. I'm really glad I decided to do it. I'm a little nervous about the yarn, just how much I've got. I've got an extra skein. I got an extra skein because I knew I was going to need it. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. So yeah, I am into my waist decreases on this. And I realized that I wanted a little bit more length, so I added 2 inches. So I'm trying to figure out exactly where everything's going to hit on me. But yeah, so I'm really, really happy with this. This is in Madtosh Vintage. This is the Grey Gardens. Yeah, Grey Gardens. And the Antique Lace colorways. And that's actually not too bad. It's a little lighter than than real life, but not by much. So I'm really loving this. This has now gotten to be a mindless knit. It's been a knit that I can work on during watching hockey, so that's nice. Now that I've gotten through all the color work at the bottom. So yeah, I've made some progress on that, and now that I've been working on it, it's been moving a lot faster because, you know, it's amazing how that works. Yeah, that's the only thing on the current roster. I need to start some socks. I really do. It feels weird to not have socks on the needles. I could go pull a partially knit pair that needs to be finished, but I really don't feel like doing that. Yeah, anyway. So that means alumni roster. Yes, and I'm calling these finished, even though they still need ends woven in. I don't care. Finished. I am so pleased with these. These are the what I'm calling the Vanilla Bean Not Socks wrist warmers, or yeah, Not Socks fingerless mitts. That's what I think I called them the last time. And they fit so very well. I worked on these exclusively during the retreat. So you can see that these match up pretty exactly. I think that one of the thumbs is a little longer than the other, but that's okay. These go nice and deep, so they're about, what, 3-4 inches from my elbow? I love these. And they're warm, and they've got some room in there, so they're not really too tight and constricted. They fit nicely along my hands. And I just carried the Vanilla Bean pattern all the way up, so that slip stitch pattern all the way up on the color changes, and I carried them through to the thumb. So through my thumb gusset. And I did it on this one. Oops. Let's see if you can see it. No, not really. But I did do it on this one. No, I did it on this one too. It's just harder to see. So yeah, all in all, I'm really happy with these. This is done out of Yarn vs. Zombies Haunted Base in the Rain of Frogs colorway. And they're bright, they're fun. I had a lot of people at the retreat say how much they liked them. Michelle tried to steal them from me at every opportunity, which is fine. But yeah, so I'm thinking about just writing up what I did and putting it up as just like a simple PDF, maybe with a picture. Just putting it up there so that way people can download it and do that. I need to actually write up what I did, but yeah, I mean, it's super simple. It really is. I'll tell you this here and then, I'll write it up. I mean, I basically started off with my regular 64 stitch sock. Knit 1.5 inch cuff. At the color changes, I just did the Vanilla Bean slip, so slip 1, knit 1, all the way around at the color changes. Came up here, started increasing on either side of 2 stitches for the gusset, and during the color changes maintained the stitch pattern. And when I felt that it was big enough around, I put through the thumb gusset on waist yarn, and then just started back here, added no stitches, and started doing decreases up the side. That's it. Yeah, super easy, super quick when I actually knit on them. There was so much of an opportunity, though, just to sit and knit and not have to worry. There were times where I looked down and I'm like, damn. And I realized that I had knit past my color change and I'm taking back like 1.5 rows. But yeah, I love these. I just need to finish weaving in the ends. Actually, the second one has all of its ends woven in. They just need to be trimmed. This one is the first one and it needs all of its ends woven in. But yeah, so I'm really, really pleased with this. I cannot wait for it to be fall again, for it to be able to wear them, because apparently Mother Nature has decided that it needs to be in the high 60s and 70s. Well, actually last week, the end of this past week, it was like 73 was the high. It's November. What? When we got home, I'll talk about this more when I talk about the retreat, but when Michelle and I got home, we got off the plane and there were people who were bundled up in DC. We walked outside and we just started cackling because it was chilly when we left Maine. It was in the 60s when we got home. I'm sorry, you don't need to be all bundled up for that, but whatever. Sorry, drinking tea. Hopefully that'll keep the cough away. So yeah, that's all. That's on the roster. Whoa. So yeah, I guess that takes us to our scouting report. Yeah, because there hasn't been anything on, I haven't done any spinning. I picked up more stuff for spinning, but yeah. So stash enhancement scouting report. I'm actually going to start with the club stuff that I got, then I'm going to get into Highlands on the fly, and then I think that's how I'm going to do this. So when I got home, I had club stuff that came in. There was a club that I forgot that I had signed up for just because I hadn't heard anything from them. Oh, damn. Yeah, hang on a sec. I just dropped like 3 things. Hi. Sorry about that. I actually picked up one thing off of a pile to my left, and I dropped 3 things. So, yeah. So that's why there's that jump right there. Anywho, so yeah, I had forgotten that I had joined a club before I left, just because I hadn't heard anything from them. I didn't know when it was going to be shipping out. And that's the Mean Girls Yarn Club. So episode 5, they're the Attack of the Whores. And I got treated to this lusciousness when I got home. So this is 100% merino wool. It is the Mean Girls Yarn Club Superwash Sock. And the colorway is called Smokin'. And 560 yards. Holy crap, that's a lot. This is gorgeous. She sent, I don't know where I put it, but she sent a suggestion of patterns and a little stitch marker and some treats. And oh, it's really soft and lovely, and it's 560 yards. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. But yeah. So from Dizzy Blonde Studios, and this is Naughty Law, I believe. So dizzyblondestudios.etsy.com. I managed to get a spot in this. So happy. Awesome. And then, oops, there we go, before anything else falls. I'm in the Geek Treat Yarn Club from Kiki, Yarn vs. Zombies. And yes, I'm part of the Hooniverse. And I decided on the yarn and fiber option. You guys probably remember how I geeked out over the first colorway, Centurion Rory. If you are in this club and you have not gotten it, I probably should have said that for the last one. Sorry. Yeah. Go away. If you have, yay. Or if you're just curious. This was the yarn for this. Oh no! It's in the Haunted base, which is Superwash Merino Nylon. It's 400 yards. And if you are a Who fan, you probably can guess who this is modeled after. But K9. Again, I had something here from Kiki, and yeah. And then the yarn, or the fiber. Oh, yeah. The fiber is 100% BFL. And yeah, it's the September Doctor Who Geek Treat. Love. Oh, so much fun. Yeah, I'm a little bit of a wool pig right now. And also, this was not part of a club, but when Kiki posted on her RAV group, so the Yarn vs. Zombies RAV group, that she was going to do her Monster Movie Night colorway again for this October. I had to have it. Now, she had some shipping problems, really not shipping problems, she had Mother Nature problems. And so it took a while to get orders out, and she had to re-dye some of the orders. So this took a little while, and I didn't get it until the end of the month. But yeah. And I forget what all of the colors are in the Monster Movie Night. She actually named them all. This, if you watch Highland Handmaids or Fiberista Files, sorry, Heather worked on, I believe it's a pair of Hermione's Everyday Socks knit out of this colorway last year, and they were gorgeous. So yeah, when she was saying that she was posting for pre-orders, I had to have it. I am so happy. It takes a while for shipping from Australia, but it is so worth it because I have not ever had anything that I didn't like from Yarn vs. Zombies, or from really any of the other Australian dyers like Solar Flare Fibers. Her stuff is gorgeous. I'm going to move a few things. Sorry about the rattling or the crinkling, really. So there is that. And I think all the other enhancements are from Highlands on the Fly. This requires a drink first. So, Highlands on the Fly. Oh my gosh. If you follow me on Instagram, you've seen some of the pictures. It was so much fun. Michelle and I flew out, excuse me, late Thursday afternoon because she was doing a half day at school. And so we decided that we were going to take the 3 o'clock flight out, which landed us in Bangor at 5. And we were picked up by one of the hostesses of the retreat, Sarah, her mom, and she drove us and Renee from Texas to the retreat. And so it was really nice. And we were, the 3 of us got to know each other in the back of the car because we were all sitting in the back seat and just had fun on our way up. And it was nice to be able to go into the retreat knowing one other person. And we got there and everybody was already sitting around the fire, knitting. So we grabbed a couple of chairs and we just kind of sat down and started knitting. And we hadn't been there for very long before, was it Katie who did that first or Pat's Fan One? Either way, Katie heard my voice. And I think she heard somebody say my name as well. And she was like, Holly's here? Holly? What? And looked up and was like, when did you get here? I'm like, 5 minutes ago. It's all good. And we got up and we hugged. It was a big love fest. So I was like, yay. And we talked for a little while. And then I went back and sat down. And Pat's Fan One, Christine, hi. Basically, like she says she fangirled me. And if that's fangirling, I can handle that. It's kind of cool. Excuse me. She confirmed that it was me. I had a podcast and she's like, yes, I know. I watch your podcast and I know your name. I know your face. I know your cat's name. But I felt that she was like, I felt like it would be really weird if I just walked up to you and just hugged you. Which, in any other situation, absolutely. In this one, it would have been fine. But it was so much fun to just kind of walk in there and just be immediately accepted by everybody, and everybody was excited. And we had dinner, which was great. Dinner was great. And then got our cabin, well, the 3 of us, since we got there later, got our cabin assignment, which Michelle and I were in the same cabin. Renee was in a different cabin. So then we got dropped off at our cabins. We met 2 of our roommates, Jackie and Louise, and they were wonderful. They'd been to the site before for other knitting retreats. And so we sat up and talked with them for a while. And we were still waiting on our other 2 roommates who had driven up from Boston because they flew into Boston from Georgia and had driven up. And I think they got there just as we were all leaving for our cabins. Because they got in later that night, and we didn't get to meet them until the next day, Lynn and Carolyn. So yeah, the first night was great. Um, both Michelle and I like woke up automatically somewhat early on Friday morning. Me from excitement, her because she's very used to getting up early, and so am I, but mostly it was from excitement. And we had like the front bedroom, so we had this big picture window that looked out over like the back lawn area. So like there was a cabin over here and then the lake. It was gorgeous. If it had been warmer, we would have hung out by the lake a lot more, or at least not as breezy. So, yeah. So we got up and we went up for breakfast, and we had signed up for our class, which was dye your own sock yarn with Heather. I was not going to not take that class. I was going to find a way to have that, to learn how to do that, have that one-on-one time with Heather. It was really cool. And it was actually, I learned a lot in that class. I I'm glad that I did it because I know how to do like the basics of it. Will I ever dye my own yarn? No. Maybe an occasional skein for like me. But no, I'm not going to be doing this and going into business. That's not me. I will support the people who do, though. So, yeah, let me lean over here. So we got to dye our own sock yarn and pick our own colors, and she taught us the differences between kettle dyeing, space dyeing, and spot dyeing. And I opted to space dye mine. And this is what I came up with. Yeah. And I love the fact that there are these spots that didn't get as much. They're still dyed, but they didn't get as much of the color. And there are these spots that did. And the places where the dye broke, so you've got like these pink areas, these pink flecks, and where I was messy with the turquoise. So that's where all these blue flecks are. Because, yeah, I really didn't care where things were going. I was like, all right, I don't care if the dyes mix. Yeah. Sorry for that glare in the back. I don't know how to make that window any dimmer. But yeah, this just makes me happy. I was going for like an old 70s kind of feel. If this had been a little richer, like if this gold had been a little richer and didn't go into the light bits so much, so basically if I'd used my entire bottle on this, and I'd had slightly bigger areas of the green, I really wanted that green and the turquoise, it would have been really 70s. Or if I had like added an orange to it. I really was looking for an orange first, but somebody had it and I had no clue who did, so yeah, I'm really proud of it. This I am going to, I'm going to knit them up into, I think I'm going to knit it up into socks because, it's sock yarn, it's superwash, why not? Um, I need to ask Heather again how many yards it is. I think it's 400. So stinking proud of that. And then after that, all of a sudden, like, because I've been so on the go, like, for the longest time, I hit a wall. And I just had to sit. And I just had to sit and knit. I mean, I contemplated going back to the cabin and napping, but no. So, excuse me. So yeah, Michelle and I went up, we went, took showers, got changed, went up to the lodge, and just sat and knit for like the rest of that day. And it was lovely. And that night, we had dinner, and they had yarn themed. Well, they had a special drink that night. The yarn themed drinks weren't until the next night. So they had a special drink, a pumpkin martini, which, while I'm not a huge fan of pumpkin, I had anyway. It was quite tasty. I only had the one though, because I figured that, yeah, that was probably smart. And then I switched to beer and I was happy. Um, but yeah, again, if you follow me on Instagram, you saw all the pictures of us with our pumpkin martinis and with cell phones and our pumpkin martinis and showing off hand knit socks because we were all like, oh yeah, hand knit sock picture. And Michelle and I were both wearing our Alonzi socks. So I was like, yes, yeah, see, I designed these. I'm happy. And it was just so much fun. And then Saturday was market. Oh my gosh, it was so awesome, slightly overwhelming, but great. Oh, yeah. Like when Michelle and I got there, we kind of had a strategy, but we weren't so sure. We were like, whatever takes us. But we were like, we want to go to Bling Your String and get a few things. Because Erin from Bling Your String, so Erin, Tiffany Craft Tea, and Isabel all came down, like drove 14 hours from Canada, from Toronto. That's dedication. And they were all awesome and so very nice. And so we were like, we need to make sure that we're hitting up, Erin. We want her stuff. So yeah. I'm like, where to start? Where did I put those? Give me a second. Yeah, this is interesting. You get to look at my back, right? So yeah, Bling Your String. I need more project bags, like I need a hole in the head, but really? How could I resist? Birds. Y'all know how I feel about birds. Love. And this is already being used. It was already used. It was housing the mitts for the weekend. And I love that you've got these nice little sturdy handles. And all of her project bags come with, I'm going to reach forward so you get that, oops, sorry, extreme close-up and a jostle. Come with stitch markers. Let's see if I can get this to show any clearer. Oops. There we go. So you can kind of see like these are, you've got a couple different kind of beads with crackle. And you've got this bird stitch marker. Like they all have one special stitch marker and that's awesome. Yeah, I'm going to say awesome a lot because I am thrilled. So I got that. And of course I got the owl one because, I love the owls. And, with the nice polka dotted lining. And they're really squishy, so they don't have like interfacing in them, which is nice, just because so you can squish them down and you don't have to worry about that, about their shape, not coming back. You've got these really nice wrist holders. So, and they're strong. And again, for the special projects, the beads, and this one has an owl. Yeah, that's not all. I told you, we were like, we need to have this stuff like now. And while this is uber pink, it has drinks on it. I know. And then you've got the martini glass and the very pink stitch markers, the crystals. And of course, I had to get the Highlands on the Fly special bag. And she actually ran out of these. I think I got either the last one or the next to last one. She was doing pre-orders for them. But this is so cool. So you've got all of the very fall trees, so the Highlands of Maine, so that's like the outside of the bag. And then on the inside, you have plain fabric. That is so cool. And so Heather and Katie, and again with the wrist strap. So she's got a little zipper tag that's stamped, Highlands on the Fly 2013. And again, she's got special stitch markers. And one of them is a plain. So very cool. And really, Erin was just the nicest person ever. I will explain more about that later on. But yeah, so, and then I went to buy, we stopped, excuse me, then we went next to hers and got, or I went next to hers and went and got a couple of Tix trinkets from Katie. So Katie's mom designs and makes the Tix trinkets, which are the better than a shawl pin shawl clips. And of course, I don't know where any of those are right now. I'm like missing a ton of stuff, and it's just because it's around. So you'll be able to see them as I wear them because I got two and they're gorgeous. And sorry, Katie, I'm gonna look for them and try and find them later. And then Highland Handmaids. I mean, there was still other stuff there, but we went in because I wanted to see what Heather had. I fell down, went boom. Really hard. And I could have done more. And I decided to be good. Although, yeah. So I fell in love with all sorts of silver maple sock. So her silver maple sock is 60% superwash merino, 30 bamboo, 10 nylon. This is the first colorway I picked up, though she be but little. So it starts off with this gorgeous charcoaly gray and goes into this silver and then this bright blue. And the bright blue goes into this green, which goes into this purple, which is showing really blue, but it's a really beautiful lilac-y purple with some gray going through it. Yeah, it's really blue right there. That's a little better, but not much. But, oh. And it's so soft. Oh, so soft. And then bruised apple. So we've got these really bright, this bright appley green, like a Granny Smith apple, into a darker, more muted green, into these browns. And it just ends with this really goldeny kind of brown. Oh. Yeah. Oh no, I'm not done. And really for the colorway name, I mean, I love the colors, but for the colorway name, I had to get it. Classing it up. And it starts off with that really bright Granny Smith apple green going into this gorgeous coral. So it's like a corally pink, which is really nice. Then going into this slightly more muted green. And this deep, like deep navy blue into this warm plum. Oh. Actually, it almost matches my sweatshirt. Yeah. There's more. Sorry, again, sorry for the rustling. I think, yeah. And then the Should You Need Us. One of the Labyrinth colorways, inspired colorways. And you've got this silvery, dusky teal, which is really not showing up. It looks very gray. Into this charcoal gray and back into that silvery teal. It's gorgeous. Excuse me. So that was a sock yarn that I got from Heather. And then I saw this, In Search of Dragons. And it's just so bright and pretty. You've got that true turquoise, like that turquoise blue, and where it fades and it goes into this tan. It's a warm tan, golden tan. And so this is her black ash worsted, which is a 60 merino, 40 bamboo. It's about 300 yards, and it's so pretty. I don't know. Maybe a hat? Maybe a cowl? I mean, it's 300 yards, so I should be able to do a lot with it. So still not all I got from Heather. Yeah, I had to get some of her pitch pine top. It was Polworth. How can you... And this is the bushel colorway, which I've never been able to pick up in a shop update, but that's mostly because, you know, I miss them. I don't go immediately sometimes unless I'm looking for something specific, but oh my God. These are showing up really super, like, deep, like hot pink for me, and they are actually more of a rose, like a corally rose. So you've got this really peachy colorway up here, and the greens, and this is really a corally kind of a rose. This goes into a more muted rose. Oh, and I love Polworth. I love spinning with Polworth. And I may have acquired another spindle, and this is an oak spindle. The tag is somewhere in my luggage or in one of my bags, because I was going to have Heather show me how to properly drop spin or drop spindle. And I actually watched her with other people Saturday night, but I totally forgot about it. It was sitting in my bag, and I was just sitting there knitting along on my knits, you know, blah, 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 as you do. So I'm going to have to, you know, just woman up and do it. So yeah, and this is really, really, it's really lovely. Oh, sorry. As I drop it. It's really lovely. It's got a nice weight to it. Yeah, I'm kind of excited to use it. I've got a couple of other of Paul spindles, and I don't think I'm doing them justice, honestly. But I'm going to learn, damn it. And I got to meet Paul. Paul is really very sweet, and he's so proud of his spindles, and he's so proud of just yeah. Yeah. So then, let's see what I have in this. Oh, I have one of my Chicks trinkets. Yay. Okay, so this is one of the 2 Chicks trinkets that I bought. There we go, kind of. Come on. Come on. There. Oh, almost. If it would stop moving. But you've got these really beautiful, smooth, polished beads in this one crystal. And they work really well. They hold ends together. Like, they hold it together really, really super well. If I could find the other end to this. And so it just kind of adds also that nice little bit of bling or color that just kind of helps make it. Michelle got one that she was using as a cardigan closure, and it's a little wider. She didn't have the better than a buttons, but these work so well, and they're beautiful. Yeah, love it. Happy. Um, and then, oh, there were more things. There were more things that happened. And I do not remember the vendor that I got this from. If I looked at my PayPal statement, I probably would. Or no, if I looked at my bank account, I probably would. But this is a blend of alpaca and bamboo. And I've had issues with alpaca before just because if you don't get every single one of the guard hairs out, I break out in a rash. And while this is a little prickly, I think it's going to be lovely knit up. And this is going to have to be something like a cowl, something where it's going to be nice and warm and around my neck, but not really necessarily completely around my neck. Yeah. No clue how much I have of this. It's looking like it's maybe a sport or a DK. It's so pretty and so soft. And yes, I bought sheepy socks. Because why don't you? They're sheep. So there was that. And then I don't know where those went. I got, let's see if I actually put them away. I don't think I did though. No, I didn't. I got some beautiful stitch markers from Ship Point Glassworks, I believe is the name of the company. I had her Moo card here too and I can't find it. I'll put it in the show notes. But I got some beautiful stuff there. First thing I got was this little needle case and all of the pretty beading. Okay, you, this way. There we go. And really it's only long enough to hold like the smallest of your needles. But it's really nice to have. I wish there was a longer one. That way I didn't have to carry my chibi all the time. But yeah, it's really handy. I kept this in my mitts, excuse me, with my mitts, so that way when I was waiting to board the plane on last Sunday, I was able to weave in the ends of that one. So yeah. And I also got this lovely, lovely orifice hook. Yeah, it's beautiful. Michelle was looking at them going, oh, look, that's really pretty. And I'm like, I know. It's an orifice hook. Yeah. And she was just like, it's just really pretty. And I'm like, yeah. I was kind of sad that I didn't have my ladybug with me. But how was I going to take her on the plane? Our flights up were 2 smaller flights. Actually, the flight back was a bigger flight. But yeah, the flight up was on a tiny plane. So I'm like, is that everything? Oh, and then from sabitofarm.com, I got this cute little sheepy. I also got a catnip toy for George. God, if you're on Instagram, you saw that video. I'm going to see if I can put it at the end of this. We'll try. If it doesn't work, I'll link to the Instagram video. He forgave me really quickly. And then I took the catnip toy away from him and put it where he couldn't get it. He got to it. I don't know where it is in the house now. He's hidden it. I just know that he's been at it when he comes back and he's all crazy. I'm like, dude, really? But yeah, so I got this sheep who's just very fluffy. And so that felted catnip toy, and I got a bar of soap. I believe it's tangerine, it's honeysuckle, but I believe it's tangerine honeysuckle. Oh my God, it smells so good. honeysuckles remind me of when I was a little girl. And in our backyard, there was a honeysuckle bush that just kind of grew. Like grew around the edges of our fence. Nobody knows how it got there. It just kind of grew wildly. And as I got older, it just stopped. But when I was a little girl, I used to love the smell of the honeysuckle bushes. And oh, so it brings me back to my childhood. Love. So yeah, that was market. I forgot to mention that when we got there on Thursday, we got our little gift bags, which included a skein of the sugar maple sock in the Misty Mountain colorway for the retreat. So nice. Yep. So it says 2013 Highlands on the Fly. Oops, sorry if I shook the camera there. Then we had a little skein of yarn from Friday Studios, so a mini skein. Everybody got different colors. There was a mini skein. I had a mini skein at one point of Solar Flare fibers in the Julia colorway, but I already have that in the Apollo base. I already have that. So Michelle traded me. She took my Solar Flare fibers, and I was like, yes, please. I want you to know the loveliness of it. And into the world did these cute little mini bags of fiber. Okay, I don't know if it's actually going to show. There we go. The colorway's Viola, and it's Polworth, and it's beautiful. Yeah. So Michelle gave me hers. I gave her my Julia because I have a whole skein of it. We got this uniquely handmade button that says handcraftedneoc.com. There's Jingly. Pigeon Roof Studios sent a little mini skein. Oh, beautiful. We got a little zipper pull, Highlands on the Fly 13. Heather gave us a button. I'm going to put it with all the rest of my buttons. And then there was this button that was included, Yarns at Yinhu. Come on. And this is a new podcast. So it's www.yarnsatYinhu.com, a podcast about the fiber arts. I have not yet listened. I'm definitely going to go and download it and see what I think. We got a little stitch marker from Erin at Bling Your String. We got coupon codes. Oh, so awesome. But that's not all. There was, on Saturday night, we had our dinner, and then we had door prizes. And, yeah, lovely. The loveliness. I won this bat of luscious purpleness. Holy cow. It's gorgeous and it's soft and I just want to bury my face in it. Michelle's been asking if I will, she's been telling me that I'm spinning it up for her. We'll see. But it's from Never Enough Time. Whoops. And it's her wildflower bat. So it's merino bamboo, 3.4 ounces. And I got a set of stitch markers from Blue Dog Woolies. That's really, really very cool and very generous. And I was just like, that's awesome. So, yes, I had this and I was just like, because I was presented with a couple of different options with, I believe that one was like a spinning and a yarn option. or spending in a knitting option. Like one was, I think, the fiber from Leading Men Fiber Arts. And I really wanted my hands on that, but I was just like, oh, it's like a Sophie's Choice. And yes, I got this. It really was hard to, yeah. And then there was another little surprise in that we were talking at dinner that night, my table, and oops, sorry. Sorry. Text messages. We were talking, and one of my roommates from our cabin was sitting at the table, and she was just like, "So wait, are you a designer?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I've designed a few sock patterns." And she was asking if they're up on Ravelry, and I'm like, "Well, the two that I've designed recently are up on Ravelry, and I'm linked to some others. My very first design is not available on Ravelry. My very first published design isn't available on Ravelry. It's in a book called Pints and Pearls." And they were like, "Oh, really? That's so cool." Well, and then as the door prizes went on, Pints and Pearls was one of the prizes. And I wasn't going to say anything, and my table totally ratted me out. They were like, we have one of the designers here. And like Heather, Katie, and Sarah did not know about that. They were just like, "Oh my God, that's so cool." And so it was requested that I go sign my pattern. And the person who won it was Jennifer. She was really excited, and she was just so nice about it. She's like, "Oh, yeah." So yeah, it's really kind of awesome. I'm still giddy and I'm still a little embarrassed at it at the same time. But I'm like, that's really cool. So yeah, and then Saturday night there were yarn twist on the drinks. There was the yarn over, which was Chambord and Bailey's, I think. And then there was the Celtic Nut, which was coffee. It wasn't Bailey's. It was, I can't remember what other liquor went in that. What liquor went in that. But I was like, "Oh, it looks like it's tasty." I didn't have it. I stuck to beer all night because I'm just that girl. And it was just so fun, sitting on the couch, sitting around the fire, just knitting, chatting with everybody. I got to watch Heather give spindle lessons. And then turning in and waking up the next morning was so sad. I mean, it was fun. We got up for breakfast. We were up early. We took our stuff to the lodge, and it was so sad to be leaving, and everybody was starting to take goodbye pictures and like selfies of themselves. So I had so much fun. Oh my gosh, you guys, it was great. Oh wow, we're at like 53 minutes. So not a short episode. I had so much fun. I cannot wait till next year. I definitely think that I'm gonna have to do this. When I got up there, I hadn't been to Maine in almost 14 years. And I didn't realize until I got up there just how much I'd missed the state. I've always loved Maine. I was up there for a few months when I worked for LL Bean, and I loved the state then. I'd never been that far north. But coming home, I just really realized how much I missed it. Even though I'm still sick, I don't care. And I was talking to somebody about that, and I was like, really? Well, I posted it on Facebook, I posted it on Twitter, and I told a friend of mine at the yarn shop yesterday, because I taught some brand new knitters, yay. And she was just like, "Well, that's sometimes what your body has to do. You give it fresh air and complete rest for 4 days, it's going to get sick and try and get the toxins out of your system. So I'm hoping that's what it is. My body's just detoxing right now. And I really would like it to be over. So yeah, that's pretty much the wrap up of Highlands on the Fly. Like I said, we got back in last Sunday, and people were bundled up. It was the Marine Corps Marathon, and it had ended by the time we got in. So we got to see some of the finishers walking through the airport trying to catch planes with their medals on, which was so very cool. And damn it, they deserve to be wearing those medals all the time. I know part of the course. Actually, I know the whole course. I've been all around it. I will not ever. I'm not a runner. I will continue to keep trying Couch to 5K and see if I can actually do a 5K one day. I will not be a marathon runner. That is damn sure. Just simply those people are awesome. And I had friends who ran the marathon, and I am so proud of them. But yeah, we got back, and there were the marathon runners who were dressed in layers because, you know, it was chilly in the morning, and they had acclimatized. There were people who were dressed head to toe like puffy jacket. Excuse me. Puffy jacket, sweater, gloves. It was 60 degrees. That was just ridiculous. Yeah, so that's the update from Highlands on the Fly. Excuse me, when I coughed, my eyes started watering, so yeah, that's about it. And we still have more. So Podiversary, yay, we're one. I'm one. Thank you guys again so much for all of your support over the last year. So the main Podiversary prize that I said that I was going to give out is an ebook of your choice, $20 or less, available on Ravelry. But I also have another prize to give out. Because Erin of Bling Your String is so awesome and so very nice, she donated, let's see if I can find it. She donated a few things, but this is for the Podiversary, one of her medium bags. I know, it's pretty. And I love the ticking inside. It's so pretty. And we've got the black sparkly kind of disco ball-y kind, and this beautiful, beautiful flower to go along with the rest of the flower motif. She was really very sweet. I had mentioned that I was like trying to figure out which of the bags that I bought that I was going to give away. And she's like, well, no, I can just, if you'd like, I'd love to be able to help out with that. And it's like, thank you. So Erin, if you're watching, thank you so much for your generosity. Erin also gave me a few sets of stitch markers that I am going to hold on to until we get to the fall and color knit along. So when that ends at the end of the year, I'm going to use those as prizes for that. So there are going to be more prizes for those. But yeah, so I've got two big prizes right here. So I'm going to draw twice. So happy about that. So that being said, let's go ahead and use the random number generator, and I'm going to go over here. Oh, I need to move that. And random number generator. Oh, whoops. First I need to get to the right. Yep, I'm on the right thread. Okay. Let me put in. So we had 19 entries in the Podiversary thread. And the first, or 19 posts, the first one was mine. So going from 2 to 19, let's see if this will show up. Yep, kind of. All right, done. So you can see here, start. And our first winner is number 8. So let's find number 8. And that's Maria Wilhelmina, who is from Houston, Texas. So Mariette, welcome and thank you so much. Now, my question I had everybody answer was just tell me why you started knitting or crocheting. And so Mariette said, I was 4 and it's 53 years ago. My sister showed me how when she was playing school. My first knit scarf was a scarf from my mom with old yarn from my sweater. My mom loved it. So that's awesome. Let me actually make sure that I write down. Whoops. There is that. So there's Podiversary 1, number 8. And so what I'm going to do, is, well, let me go ahead and I'm going to draw the second person first. And so second person is number 12. Let me see if that's showing up. Perfect. And so number 12 is Angie Ship, or NJ Ship, and that's Andrea from Ajax, Ontario. Awesome. So number 12, and she said, I started knitting after my daughter was born. I wanted to knit things for her, which is very sweet. So what I'm going to do is I am going to give you guys, both of you, the option. Whoever gets back to me first, I want you both to PM me with your information and if you'd like, I'm doing this on the fly, so I'm trying to think this through. Sorry, I'm thinking this through as I go along. And I'm just going to do it this way. So Mariette, so as our first winner, you're going to get this. So you're going to get the Aaron's Bling Your String medium project bag, which is lovely, and the gorgeous, gorgeous stitch markers. I had to think this through, and I should have done this beforehand, but whatever. And Andrea, you are going to get the ebook from Ravelry. So go ahead and Mariette, PM me your shipping information, and I'll go ahead and get that out in the mail to you. And Andrea, just let me know which book that you'd like off of Ravelry, and I'll go ahead and I'll make sure that gets into your Rav account. Book and bag. So thank you guys so much for all of your support this year. I'm so happy. So I'm going to put that over there. Oops. I'm going to, again, my text message is going off. And so that leaves us with the October socks. So let me go ahead and get into, I'm going to pull out my iPad for this because I want to show you guys the picture of whoever wins. So I have it opened up to the correct page. And I'm going to go ahead and change this. So we had 29 posts. Yep. 29 posts in the socks thread. And so let me change that to 29. So let's see if we can get that, if you can kind of see that. Maybe not really. Done. We're going to start from the start. So number 18, post 18 is on the first page. Let's see. And Phoenix Fire. Oops. And she said, socks for Halloween night. I love those. Oh, those are great. So Phoenix Fire, let me put down this as well. Let me make a note because, making notes is important. So Phoenix Fire, PM me your favorite colors and your shipping info, and I will get a skein of sock yarn out to you as soon as possible. Luckily, life seems to be slowing down a little bit, so I can stay on top of that. So yeah, I look forward to hearing from all of you. Thank you guys so very much for participating. I will have the November threads up after I finish this and while this is processing. So that way I can get them up, and if you guys have got FOs, put them in the threads. I like to see them. It brings me a lot of joy to see all of that. So thank you guys so much. And I think that's it. It's a fairly long episode. Sorry about that, but there was so much to talk about, and I wanted to tell you guys all about Highlands on the Fly. And yeah, so have a great week. If you'd like to reach me, you can always email me at sheepishpodcast@gmail.com. I am Knit Girl on Ravelry. Remember, Knit Girl is spelled conventionally. I am on Plurk and on Twitter as Sheepish Podcast, and I am on Instagram as KnitGirl726. So thanks a lot, everybody, for joining me. I hope you had a great time, and I will see you next time. Happy knitting. Bye.